Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. Mr. Secretary, thank you for being here. In preparing for this hearing, I came to realize we have something in common. Both of us lost our fathers when we were 14 years old. I remember your loss. I was a second-year law student at Georgetown. It broke America's heart for you and your family.
Well, thank you, Senator.
My loss was similar in that my father, who was 53 years old, died of lung cancer. 2 packs of Campbell's a day. And it changed my life, as I'm sure your father's loss changed yours. And so I've taken tobacco pretty seriously as a member of Congress now for 44 years. And the one thing I did seemed small at the time, but maybe has impact behind, and that was to ban smoking on airplanes. Once we raised the question of the danger of secondhand smoke on an airplane, Americans asked the obvious question, well, how about a train, or a bus, or an office building, or a hospital, or a restaurant? And we've seen dramatic reductions in tobacco addiction. Still, the reason for moving forward on that was not just to make the situation more pleasant on an airplane, but also to protect children who were smoking and using tobacco products in school. That number is down dramatically. We're told by experts that if we want to save more lives in America, we need to do less. We need to do more in stopping smoking and have fewer people smoking than we do today. Your report on the state of health in America, I looked through it, and it never mentions the words tobacco or cigarette. I think it's such a priority, I hope you'll reconsider. And I hope you'll also consider what the tobacco companies have done to this new generation of children. They're now not peddling tobacco successfully, they're peddling vaping and cigarettes, e-cigarettes. I visit schools in Illinois and the principals pull me aside and say, Senator, what are you doing about this? These kids are doing too much in vaping. Instead, however, your FDA just approved the e-cigarette responsible for igniting this youth vaping epidemic, Juul, and announced plans to permit big tobacco to sell more kid-friendly flavors. This FY27 budget request would also eliminate the CDC's Office of Smoking and Health. This $246 million program helps adults to quit smoking and make sure that kids have fewer chances of ever doing it themselves. You tell us they're the sickest generation of children we've had. How can vaping make them any healthier?
Well, first of all, I agree with you, Senator, and I want to thank you for the work that you did on airplanes and restaurants. And, I was on a lot of those airplanes as a kid, and it made no sense to me that if you moved, that you could smoke in the back, but you couldn't smoke in the front because the smoke was everywhere. Oh, that was extraordinary leadership, and I want to thank you, and I want to thank David Kessler, who was the FDA commissioner,
my partner,
who did an extraordinary job. FDA, and I talked to you about this on the phone, that there was an FDA career staff, career scientists, have made certain decisions about vaping. There is controversy in my agency because the approval included approval of certain the request included a request for certain flavors that, in my view, were directed at children, bubble gum and cotton candy. The career reviewers have to make a determination because the threshold for tobacco is much higher than it is for drugs. They have to make sure not that that drug is safe and effective for a particular individual, that it's better for society as a whole. And I think I don't know about the deliberations there, but I know that they had to make a decision based upon the science that vaping was going to reduce combustible tobacco use. That was the scientific finding they had to make. I don't know. I don't know the details. I've never read the studies, but that is the process that they had to go through.
If I could say this, I want smokers to quit too. If there was something that could have saved my father's life, I would have supported it. But I learned a long time ago you can't trust big tobacco's promises. In the meantime, we can't risk a new wave of children addicted to this poison. The law is crystal clear. The Tobacco Control Act requires an e-cigarette manufacturer first prove to the FDA that its product is, quote, appropriate for the protection of public health before it can go on the market. You're an attorney. This is a condition precedent. The law has no special treatment for American vapes or Chinese vapes. If we're serious about protecting kids, I hope you'll reconsider any decision which allows the expansion of e-smoking.
Thank you, Senator.